One. Hello, hello. My apologies for starting later than I said. The energy is no joke right now, y'all. Like, we're past the day of the planetary alignment. However, the portal energy is really strong. It is not a joke at all right now. Yes, every day is always an opportunity for us to individually quantum leap. That is always available to all of us. And we each will, reach a deeper level of realization around this truth as we continue our own individual journeys. However, hey Letty, we do have these spaces where there's like a lot of stuff shifting on a collective level, and this is one of those times. So to kind of lay out the groundwork for where we're at again, right? Other side of that really intense Cancer full moon, the other side of the planetary alignment portal, we have a new moon coming on the 29th, which 29 is always very significant to me. 2 is duality, 9 is endings, together is 11. It's a threshold, it's a new doorway. We're moving into a new reality collectively, and then on a quantum level, individually, we are each shifting tremendously. So I took notes because, again, this energy is coming in crazy. I have been buzzing today, buzzing intensely. My partner and I actually ended up doing a celestial soul retrieval, which I had done a couple of months ago, and we went through it today together, and it was amazing. I woke up feeling like I've been sleeping for the last, I don't even know how many months, to be honest with you. And I've been going through different types of healings over the last maybe 6 months, I would say, trying different things. And now we're in this space, right, where the North and South Node have also recently shifted and will be in the signs they're in for a year and a half, which is another huge contribution to the collective shift that we are in right now. North Node is now in Pisces, and it was in Aries. South Node is now in Virgo, and it was in Libra. So we had that like fire, air energy. It was like a lot of impulsivity, a lot of like, Libra is very like social and coming off a certain way. Aries is trying to be seen, trying to dominate. And we're moving, we have moved into this North and South Node energy of Pisces, which is intuition, more being with the self, self-care, self-love, really intense prophetic dreams, a lot of our subconscious that has been before so more dormant in our lives, becoming a much more active participant in our daily life. And Pisces also has the 2 fish, right? So there's a balance. There's a balance that Pisces is bringing, and she's at the end of the zodiac as well, as we are in a 9-year. So this is a huge coming together point, because we are at a very strong endings energy right now. Along with that, right, we just entered Aquarius season in Western astrology, and the new moon that's coming on the 29th in 2 days is going to be in Aquarius as well. And on that day, Mercury and Pluto will also align in Aquarius. So we will have Pluto, the planet of transformation, death, rebirth, which also in 9-year represents the snake, which represents shedding of the skin, becoming new. We have all of these like lower vibrational interpretations that we see more often than not of the snake, which I genuinely believe and have believed for a long time, that this, honestly, that narrative being pushed more than anything else has a lot more to do with, the narrative of Christianity, bad versus good, the matrix side of organized religion kind of like took that narrative. And I spoke about it before, where in true sidereal astrology, hey Kiona, thank you. There is a 13th sign, and it is Ophiuchus, and the symbol for it is like a man holding a snake. And there's this alchemy of, the snake representing the divine feminine, the shedding, the death and rebirth over and over again, and the man holding the snake is meant to represent the masculine, kind of holding a space for the snake, for the divine feminine energy to go through that shedding, death and rebirth process. In a way that's not like completely chaotic. However, it's kind of like showing the two extremes. And 13 as well, right, has also been painted with a very strong negative connotation. And a lot of this is, yes, there's a shadow side to all of these things. However, when addressed and approached from a grounded perspective, it's incredibly powerful, it's magic, it's transformative, it's transmutive on the deepest level. So the way I'm seeing it too, right, even like the story in the Bible of Adam and Eve and the snake and tricks them and the fruit of knowledge, etc. Honestly, I'm seeing that as our souls were like chilling, vibing. That's like the Garden of Eden, right? That's like the heaven on earth. And then coming into this space of interacting with the snake and knowledge, and then you see the world for a little while in a very dualistic perspective of bad and good, this or that. Before I was in the snake energy and was transforming, which is an extremely uncomfortable place to be, you do feel like you're dying because parts of your ego are dying. That is what it is meant to be. However, it's painted as this thing that's wrong, bad, stay away from it, right? Stay in the light only, don't go through the transformation process. And it's almost as if transforming is not encouraged, right? Again, it's kind of going along with this like stuck in the matrix, just kind of do what you're told kind of reality perspective. And it's like a trap. You get stuck in that place. And so you're afraid to transform. You're afraid to feel your deepest, ugliest feelings. You're afraid to face your shadow. You're afraid to accept it. You're afraid to look at it from the lens of light. Because it's not black and white. It's not like if you go into the shadow and it becomes this whole thing. The reason why it ends up being experienced as a dark night of the soul, where you feel hopeless and all of that, is because you feel like you have to fully immerse yourself in that and become that only in order to come back on the other side, and it's a different story. Some individuals, they come here and they're meant to do that however many times, whatever. But there is this connection that you make with the quantum field at some point in your journey as a soul, if you're meant to. And you understand that everything is what it is, and you come from the perspective of light either way, and it still is about, you can see the dark, you can acknowledge it, you can accept it, and you can release it and move forward, because there is a deep integration and understanding, and you can hold space for whatever that lower vibrational experience is, was, etc., and still hold a very strong, grounded light that does not go anywhere. It doesn't get snuffed out. You don't forget about it. It's not like, oh, the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm in my dark night of the soul, so like I can't touch the light right now. And it's not, I'm not gonna say it's not like that, because it's like that for a lot of people, only because of the space that they're in, the perspective and from which they're looking. So it's a lens, and right now we're being given the opportunity to switch lenses like very rapidly, because we have all of this Aquarius energy, right? So on top of that, another thing that's going on right now is Uranus. So there's a lot of different things going on about Uranus. Is ending her retrograde today, it's tomorrow, it's the 30th. Over the next couple of days, Uranus is going to go direct, and she's in Taurus, and she's going to stay in Taurus until around April 2026. So we're still going to have this Taurus, earth, grounded energy, right? Uranus, also an Aquarius energy, because Uranus rules Aquarius. So we have this chaotic, changing the narrative, innovating, evolving planet in Taurus. So a lot of physical reality, 3D reality, what's already been physically manifested, foundations being shifted and changed and torn. And when the retrograde's happening, it's just a little more extreme, right? Which we've seen out in the external world. We've been seeing the way that all of these extremes have been expressed with this transit. So we're going to continue to see that for this whole next year into the first half of next year. And I do believe either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, Uranus will go retrograde again, also still in Taurus. So again, with this 9 year that we're in, right, there's like endings, the ending of karmic lessons, especially again if you've been doing the work. If you've been doing the work, this really isn't going to be like super crazy. It's just going to be like a breath of fresh air, like a sigh. And again, that's a choice, and it's difficult to make that choice if you haven't been doing any of the work and you haven't been committing at all. When you decide to, it's most likely going to be a little bit rough, because there's still part of your psyche that's like believing in this has to be hard, this has to be super uncomfortable, this has to be XYZ. I know for myself it has been in the past. However, each moment I get to decide I'm going to continue to evolve and grow and shift and innovate in my reality, create my reality as I most desire to be, as my highest vibrational embodiment. And it gets to be with ease and bliss. That's a decision that I'm making, and the way that I'm showing that commitment to that decision is the energy from which I make my decisions, again, in every moment. So am I making this decision from fear, or, is this a very like strong, grounded logic base, and it's coming from a very powerful emotion of faith, trust, belief? Is it something that's supporting where I'm going? Is it something that's more so supporting where I've already been and I know that doesn't work, but I'm still making decisions like that and from that place? So just acknowledging all of that, right? Okay. So we will get into the cards now. Girl, let's do it. I did see there's a card I'm gonna pull out at the end. If she doesn't come out again, because she might. Would that be happening too? A lot of energy. Feeling a lot more grounded though with all of this. Oh, girl. Okay. I love it when they throw themselves. We love it. Okay. So, wow, yes. We have so much strong ground. Like, most of these cards have green in them. I love this. This is the strong earth energy. LOL. Hi, Maya. Mom, my sisters just came in. I'm like, grounded earth energy. Let me see. Okay. No, literally, this is like this Uranus and Taurus shift. What I'm feeling is there's going to be an even deeper layer of grounding that's going on. Yeah, Earth has entered the chat. Earth was already here, girl. She said, we need everyone. Calling everyone. Okay. So, where we're, the space that we're in right now, Two of Fire Will, which came out last week as well. There's a lot of this like strong tapping into groundedness, tapping into confidence. And this card came out like several times last week. That's very much so where a lot of us, especially if you're resonating with me, you're resonating with my lives, you're resonating with a lot of the messages that have been coming out. This is a collective shift that's coming in with Uranus going direct over the next few days and going into the new moon, right? Which is about setting new intentions. So I would say continuing with this energy, right, of being realistic about what needs to happen for, your day-to-day, the absolute necessities. Father of Earth is like, there's a potentiality to become too rigid. However, this is something a lot of us have struggled with, where like we're not having that much of an issue of being too rigid. We're more so having an issue of staying grounded enough to be consistent about what we know needs to happen. to sustain us, to be a solid enough foundation to continue to build up off of. And that's finances, that's spiritual involvement, that's emotional regulation, that's literally everything that we're working on right now, right, as a collective. So this is like, continue to own this energy, continue to stay grounded, keep up the consistency, and pair it with the balance of being confident, being sure of yourself, this fiery energy, right? This like passion of like, remind yourself why this is so necessary. When you start feeling a little bit swept up by the mundane, like, oh, I have to meal prep, I have to make sure I'm drinking this much water a day, I have to make sure I'm taking my vitamins. When you start becoming like, maybe just like annoyed with like having it to be consistent all the time, because again, if you're resonating with me and the readings and my energy right now, this is something that I have struggled with for a long time through my life, kind of feeling trapped in by the routine, remembering why you're doing it. Hey, all of the stuff that I actually want to make happen, all the magic that I'm moving into, is because I've acknowledged what my human needs and what my 3D reality requires in order for me to keep up with that. So staying connected to that desire, that passion of the vision of where you're going, and keeping that balance between fire and earth, right? Instead of letting it be a thing that drags on and it's annoying and I'm trapped and this isn't even going anywhere, like, you know, the mundane of it all. Reconnecting with that fiery energy in you that drove you to even decide to be committed to being grounded. What brought you to that place? Oh yeah, because of all these things that I'm really excited to accomplish, the reality I'm moving into. All of that is happening and continuing to build upon itself because you are deciding every day to stay committed. So that's about like the 3D things, right? Like how much you're eating, how much you're sleeping, getting the nutrients you need, exercising, stretching, right? And we have this, wow, this is really strong. So we have 2 and 3, which is adds to 5, which is a significant positive life change. And we have these very strong feminine energies. This is beautiful because I did sessions for some of my family members, my sister and one of my cousins. And my grandmother showed up. She was like, I think the term for it is venerated ancestor. Because when I've seen her in the past, I've seen her more as like a shadow. She's a little more dim. But when I saw her in each session separately, she was literally glowing like an angel. And it was like extremely beautiful and powerful. And so I was kind of like, what? You know, and then realizing I've been wearing this like almost every day for the last couple weeks. This was her necklace. My mother gave this to me. And I just love it. It's beautiful anyways. It's green. I've been vibing so much more with heart chakra colors, pinks and greens. And then of course green, right? Earth energy. I'm always being called to, you know, remember to stay grounded. So this is amazing. So this, for me, that's like a personal thing. However, what I am feeling from it collective wise is a combination of allowing and connecting with your ancestors, the ones who have your highest vibrational embodiment in mind. That's their intention. They're here to support you fully because, like, I'm gonna be honest, there's some weird vibes out there with different older ancestors, but they all have their own personal soul journey and that's their thing. But when I open space to do a session, even, you know, in my own practices, like I'm calling my ancestors who are here to support me and continue the involvement of our bloodline. That's who's showing up. So I feel like we have a lot of support ancestrally right now. And I love how this is like the turtle and the grandmother. It's kind of like the slow but sure, the slow but steady, grounded. Again, we have all of this green energy. We have this symbol of nourishment and being supported, being guided, and like this this part of your inner child. And again, this is giving like little boy energy. Like, you know, it doesn't say if it's a boy or a girl, but what I'm feeling is those of us in the collective who have that like very immature masculine, still any bit of that immature masculine energy that we have, really nurturing that, because there has been a narrative, right, of like just like talking down and talking negative about the masculines in our collective because of not being grateful for, you know, whatever they have been able to do, whatever, right? Like there is a way to uphold the masculine to a standard of excellence without literally like talking shit to them. It does not have to be that way. But a lot of us don't even really know what other place to come from. We've been really exhausted, really just like done and over it. And I get it. However, it's coming out also paired with medicine woman, the divine feminine. So what I'm feeling like in a lot of us, in order for this divine feminine energy in us to fully tap into her potential within us, we need to accept, like truly accept the immature masculine within us. We need to accept that part of ourselves and nurture that part of ourselves. And I'm seeing that kind of as like the Aries energy, right? Which is a masculine energy. It's like fiery, impulsive, trying to be seen, trying to get into fights, just like rowdy and like doing too much and then is tired and acts like a baby, right? Like a lot of what we get frustrated about in the more physically masculine embodiments of the masculine energy that's in the collective right now, when we see grown men act a certain way, you know, we just will lose it. Whether we are, you know, women or mothers or daughters or friends or, you know, that's your uncle or that's, you know, your brother's friend or whoever it is, when we see that, it's just like at this point, the feminine has, you know, lost her patience. And we've known that for a while at this point. However, there has been a shift recently where a lot of us are able to hold a lot more space for that and actually know how to approach when we see this happening externally without getting angry, without making it about us or our ego, without making it about what's happened in the past. And this is a huge upgrade for the feminine collective as a whole. And this is like a lot of us have been like very much in our divine feminine on a very high level. However, this next level up with this, the combination of the north and south node shifting, the new moon coming, the planetary alignment shift, we're still very much in the energy of that. This is like a huge upgrade for the collective, for us to like really fully embody our divine feminine power and really stop playing games with that immature masculine in us. This like little immature masculine boy is the person that still stays in a job that they don't want to be in and bitches and complains all the fucking time about being there, however will not leave. Right? So that's that tensiony, resistance, angsty little boy energy that like nobody appreciates in anyone, including all of our women and women identifying people out there, because again, we all have all of it. We have the mature masculine, we have the parts of us that are still immature masculine, we have the divine feminine that's been on the rise for the last several years, and we have the little girl immature princess energy too. We all have all of that, and we're in a really, really positive place right now to really transmute and really release this energy so that this little boy energy is no longer, you know, running the show or making decisions or doing any of that, but being held and being healed, and us being able to alchemize that energy. So whenever that part of us shows up, we don't allow it to change our frequency. We approach that part of ourselves with love, and therefore we're able to approach that part of anybody else when we see it come up with love. And it starts with addressing it in yourself. So this isn't talking about go out and find that guy that's tripping and help him. If someone shows up and that's the situation, cool. But what I'm feeling with this is as it's coming up, especially with Aquarius energy, like most of the Aquarius people that I've known have a really strong like little boy immature energy over the last I don't even know, 15 years that I've been meeting. Like, my very first girlfriend was an Aquarius. Like, let me tell you, that little boy energy was crazy. I will never forget. And through that, different friends that I've made, different people I randomly met and connected to, I would always immediately connect and vibe because there's that little boy energy in me. But then it would become something else because a lot of that part of them that was not healed would show up, and I wouldn't really know. And it was harder for me to see it in myself. So it continued to be mirrored to me, but it took a while for me to even admit that I also had that going on. Even though I didn't project it onto them in those spaces, I would start to embody more of this nourishing feminine energy and like try to be their mom. That wasn't healthy for either of us in the situation. So this is like, hey, you know about it, address it, be honest with yourself about it. And if you're not even sure how it looks, research, like look deeper into it. But this is a part of this portal, like Aquarius. Air energy is a masculine element. Aquarius is a fixed sign. When we're talking about fixed energies, it's giving masculine, because let's be real, the feminine is like correlated with creation, fluidity. Masculine energy is created with structure, stability, foundation. So there's more of an unmovable energy when it comes to masculine energy, to yang energy. So Aquarius is a very, very like strongly masculine leaning energy. This is going to be a fire acid. Yes. Oh, session. I thought it said season, but also yes. Yeah. So we're really, oh my God. And this is amazing. In the middle, the Lovers. So for some of us, this is like going to be expressed in our relationships, whether you're in a committed partnership, you're poly and you have your main partner, or you're poly and no one's your main partner, but you have all these situations going on that are feeling right for you right now. This is an example of internal and being shown external. So if you're not with anybody, or if you are, this is starting right here. This is you first. This is the converging of your masculine and your feminine energies. So because we're allowing that more immature masculine to be nurtured by our more mature feminine, internally, we can handle ourselves in that space. We're going to be seeing this more maturing of the masculine and the feminine showing in our partners, showing in people around us, period, but especially anybody that we're very intimate with emotionally, spiritually, and sexually. We're going to be seeing that balance showing up for them, and we're going to be experiencing it in ourselves. So this is lit. I'm down. I'm ready for this. Yeah, the energy is amazing. Another card that had come out, the Fool. So not taking any of this stuff too seriously. Like, don't leave the session and be like, oh my God, so what do I need to do to make sure that, like, no girl, like, we're leaving that behind. We're not freaking out. We're not like feeding anxiety. It's like, okay, we're coming from a grounded place, right? We're in this Father of Earth energy. We're not freaking out. We're looking at the facts and we're finding the balance amongst everything. And then what had come out was Ace of Air, which is about a brand new perspective. So speaking on a dimensional reality shift and perspective, we are moving into a new timeline, and a lot of it has to do with our perspective mainly. This year is going to be super aligned for our higher selves. I keep hearing evolving alignments. Yes, Maureen, absolutely. 1,000%. That is what's happening. Like, and again, we're in the 9 year, right? So even though this is like the endings year, we're going to be seeing a lot of new beginnings starting to take place. And then as we move into next year and it's like a 1 year, it's going to be like popped off on another level. However, obviously, right, it takes a certain amount of time for things to materialize physically. But we are all also, a lot more of us collectively are connecting with the quantum field and pure raw creation, and not thinking that everything has to have a certain time delay. I really do not care how long certain things have taken in the past. It's completely irrelevant. You can take note and be aware, because that's being a smart business person or whatever. You can be aware, oh, it usually takes 5 to 7 business, whatever. Be aware of that, make a plan for it, cool. That's like the father of earth energy, right? Like, be smart about what your planning is, and then let that go and decide, I have no idea when it's gonna come, but I'm gonna work on my frequency, I'm gonna work on my vibration, and who knows, it could be here in 10 minutes instead of 10 weeks or 10 months. That's how irrelevant time becomes when you are aligned. You quantum leap all the time. And there's a big part of us that really just struggles to really believe this because of what we have seen thus far. However, think about where your mindset was, where your spiritual practice was, where your commitment to your self-care and self-love was. If you even knew what meditation was, if you even knew what frequency was, like, be honest, be real about like how different you were moving and how different your reality was on every single level. How you took care of yourself, how you thought about yourself, how you thought about the world around you, the matrix, etc. It goes on and on forever, right? This whole spiritual awakening thing, you continue to awaken on deeper and deeper levels all the time. So if you're here today, this is special. This is a really special time. And I know that recently I've been like exhausted around like the portal and around like the full moon portal that happened. I could tell you I'm probably going to be tired for the new moon, but I have no idea. We're just going to have to see. We're just going to have to fill it out. I don't know why I'm still shuffling, because those were all the cards I was planning to pull. But this showed up twice already, so we're just going to show it. 2 of Water, love. So balance in your emotions. Again, I feel this talks about unconditional love, whether it's romantically based or family, or there's just a balance. There's a huge healing. There's a compromise. There's an understanding happening with a lot of people right now as well. So this is extremely exciting. I'm like, before I even started the session, I was just literally, like I said, buzzing. Like, girl, y'all don't even know. So I really do not care about like feeding into all the fear mongering around what's going on right now. It's really not about like dismissing or invalidating what anybody's experiencing. It's just about looking at the reality of how energy and frequency works. So if you're having a hard time, figure out what you need to do. Connect with your community, research. Like, there's so much out there. If you just decide to help yourself, you will find what it is that you're looking for. Like, no matter what it is that you're experiencing or moving through or going through, there is a way to move that energy and not allow it to shift your whole life. Yeah, so I've been sleeping nonstop this whole month. Honestly, us two, we've been sleeping a lot. And that too, you know, like, don't freak out about like, oh, I'm sleeping more, or I'm tired, or I'm this, or I'm that. I've been like sleeping and all that, and then like I started working more on my frequency and my alignment on another level, and a lot of that is like shifting out. So